I need pinched because the day's finally arrived. I got my Bluetti Charger 1. So I don't know if you can see that wee grommet through the metal there. So red to positive, black to neutral. They're on nice and tight. I managed to get it through with the protective sheath in the grommet. But one of the best features about this Bluetti is it's completely configurable. So this is going from 27 or 26 volts up to 56 now. The max input this takes is 500 watts and we're getting the full max 500 watts. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel, and today is a day I've been waiting for so long. As most of you know, my power setup in Dobby has got no leisure batteries. All we run on for everything is power stations. And due to the recent upgrade that we made with the Bluetti AC180P and the generously donated R1500 from All Powers, charging them has now came at the forefront of my mind because the new Bluetti AC180P is a 1440 watt hour unit. The All Powers R1500 is a 1152 watt hour unit. So charging them is now the next big thing that I need to focus on. And given the fact that I stay in Scotland, and yes, it might be sunny just now, but with the solar in my roof, it's 120 watts. And I think max I brought in summer was 90 watts. And it wasn't consistent and it wasn't steady. So the only other option that you've got with power stations to charge them is the car charger with the 12 volt socket, and on both these units I get a maximum of 100 watts. Now that is a lot better than solar because it's a consistent stream, but you have to be driving, and the problem comes in if you take the R1500 for instance, which is a smaller one, that's 1152 watt hours. And if you're only charging at 100 watt hours, to charge that from 0 to full is going to take like 10-11 hours. So then if you add the Bluetti into it, it's going to take at least 14-15 hours to charge it. So even though I've got more power, which is, you know, amazing, I don't know how to charge it. So why am I excited about my new Charger 1? Well, before I get into it, I just want to say that this video is not sponsored by Bluetti. I bought this unit from my own money, and this review is completely mine. So guys, if you do go and enjoy the video, why not drop it a wee like and let me know in the comments. And if you haven't already, why not get subscribed and hit that bell notification so you're always notified when I release a new video. I've been doing a lot of upgrades at the start of the year because I'm going to Skye as of next week, the week after I do this video. If you want to see it, make sure to get subscribed and make sure to hit the bell notification, and that'll let you know when the videos are up. So what is it? It's Charger 1 DC to DC charger. Now I know what you're thinking, that isn't new, it's not. DC to DC chargers have been out for a while. It's the technology that's in it that's new, which is the reason why everyone's going off their head for it. So like I said, the car on its own and the 12 volt socket gives you 100 watts. This basically uses your battery in your car through your alternator and gives you up to 560 watts an hour. So that's why this is gold for somebody like me. I'm going to cover the install, but I'm just going to cover a very brief analogy. So you connect a positive and a negative wire to your battery, you feed it in through the car, you bring it up to wherever your power station is, and then you plug it in to the Charger 1. Then the Charger 1 then plugs into your power station, start your car, and then you can basically get 560 watts worth of power. So there are other brands out there doing it as well. The EcoFlow, which I did look at, gives you 800 watts worth of power, which is insane. But the difference between this and the EcoFlow is the EcoFlow is exclusive only to EcoFlow products. This one can be used with any power station. I haven't seen any reviews or any videos that it can't use. So given the fact that I've got two different massive power stations, I can charge them with this. So let's unbox it and see what we get. So that's it there. It's tiny. And all you do is just mount it using the wee hooks there. You can basically just screw it in somewhere. If you don't want to screw it in, you can zip tie it as well, which is pretty cool. So I'm guessing the bigger holes, this is going to be for where the cable comes back from the car, go in here, and then the smaller cables will come out here and go to the Bluetti or your power station. This is where all the weight's coming from, by the way, this cable. Mounting screws, it's got a wee Allen key as well, I'm guessing, for the cable. It's got a nice smell to it. And then you've got this bad boy. You've also got an instructions manual. So just to be clear, you don't actually get this big massive cable with it. I'm pretty sure you got this. When I was looking up to get the Bluetti, this cable was separate and the cable's £50 on its own. The Bluetti Charger on its own was, I think, £250. So it was like £300 just to get this. In a Black Friday deal, I managed to get the both of them for £220. I jumped at it. Do you need this? No, I'm using American terms here. You could use 4 or 6 gauge wire. You could add your own cut-off fuse switch and then just feed it into the Bluetti. So no, you don't need this cable. I just got it because it was with the deal. But this is a pretty heavy-duty cable, I must say. Now, there is one wee caveat, and let me show you. So this wire's coming from the battery, and then you've got your fuse, and then this wire goes to the Bluetti, and then obviously this wire comes out the Bluetti. This is a 60 amp fuse. Now the problem comes in when you go back to the front of the cable. What do you notice is missing? This is a live wire running 60 amps from your battery at max 60 amps through your car. All this cable from your battery is going to be live all the way to there. All of this cable, no matter if it's this cable or your own cable, it's live. I don't really feel comfortable running a cable like that through the van. And I'm sure Bluetti engineers have thought about it, and I'm sure it's all been calculated, and I'm sure it's all been checked over and stuff. But for me, given that I hate electrics as it is, I don't think it's something I'm going to play about with. So what I've actually done is I've bought this. I love how you say it. It's an A&L fuse. On the positive, probably up to about maybe here, I'm going to cut the positive and I'm going to install a 60 amp A&L fuse. And then I'll reconnect the positive again back to the fuse, and I'll screw this in to the engine bay. And the good thing about these is they can deal with the temperatures of an engine bay. Someone was telling me to use a resettable fuse, but other people were saying that when you're driving, especially on bumpy roads and stuff, the fuse can trip. So then, you know, you have to keep getting and resetting it and stuff. So I got these off Amazon and I actually get 2 of them. This is rated for 60 amps. Having that between there, so if anything goes wrong at my battery or the alternator or whatever and it just surges too much power, it's cutting it off at the engine bay and this cable won't be live going through my car. And I just feel like that's a whole lot safer than waiting to the power station, which is, I don't know, 13 feet long maybe, the cable, I don't know. That's one thing that I'm adding in myself. So let's get installing it and let's see how it works. Let's go and take a look under the bonnet and see where we're going to bring the wires through. Right, I've had this issue before, trying to find where to bring wires in. So I don't know if you can see that wee grommet through the metal there. So there was actually a wee rubber tube coming out and I thought it was a pipe connected to something, but it's actually just when you put the heating on, it actually just blows hot air as well, so it isn't bringing any air in. So I think that's where we're going to go. So I'm going to see if I can trace it. If you go all the way under here, when you pull the carpet back, you might see this wee hose sticking out. And this is the hose that's just going through the engine bay. And again, this is just blowing air out. It isn't actually bringing air in. I don't have AC in the car, so I'm not worried about it. Where we want to go is a rubber grommet straight through there. Let's see if you can get in and see it. Right, there you are. That wee rubber grommet is where we want to go. I've got this wee wire, so this is just to see if it's going through to where I think it is and how easy it is to get in there. This is going in. Let's go and check the engine bay. There you go. I think with the fuse block that I've got, I might just connect it here on the inside here. What I'm going to do just now is I'm going to try and feed the wires through and bring them up first of all. If I'm being honest though, this is going to be a tall order because this is a thick cable to get through that grommet, but we'll get a go. I've managed to push it through. I just don't know if I can get it through with this sheath on it, but if not, I can just use this at the other end just to protect the cables in the engine bay. So as you can see, the wires are coming through quite nice. So let's see if we can get it through with the sheath. Result, I managed to get it through with the protective sheath in the grommet. At least we know the cable's going to fit and we know where it's going. I'm going to attach the fuse box just now. I think I can go through this middle one. So if I can do that, I'll go through that. That's the fuse box on, it's on nice and tight as well. And the good thing with the fuse being there, we're able to see it if it's tripped. So the way that it's going to run is the red wire is going to come in from the van into this fuse box, and then the fuse is going to come from here over at the main terminal, and it's nice and short as well, so any problems that happen here to here is all going to happen within this space here, and then this will just trip if there's any problem. So one job done. So I'm going to bring all the cables through to the back, and I'll need to figure out where I'm going to put it. I'm still thinking whether or not I'm going to shorten this cable, but also I want to do this test just to see how hot the cable gets. Again, Bluetti does a great job of keeping this all simple. That's just a clamp for mounting it, I think, and then you've got all your different screws for screwing it in. Let's start with the big cables. So red to positive. Just make sure to hold it in so that it doesn't slide out. And then black to neutral. You don't need to tighten them down super tight, just so that they grip it. They're on nice and tight, and then put the wee flap down. And then at the other end, the MC4 cable, this will be going towards the power station. So same again. The red wire to the positive. And then black to the negative. And that's literally it. That's how simple and easy it is to set up. So at the moment it's on, so now it's off. Just so nothing's feeding it. And then what I'll do is I'll stick the MC4 cable on it, and we'll put it to the Bluetti. This will basically go in up top, like that. It's just a case of connecting these up, so red to red, black to black. We are all hooked up, and it quite literally is as easy as that to set up. So what we'll do is we'll go and put the connectors on the battery, and then we'll come back in and we'll flip the switch to see this working. For those of you that don't know, when you're taking leads off the battery, it usually goes negative first off, last on. So if you're putting leads back on, it would be the positive first and then the negative. And again, this is just to test it to make sure it's working. So it doesn't have to be too tight. Just make sure not to hit the chassis or any metal. And you also could wear gloves as well. When I come to actually install it, the red cable here, the positive, will actually go to the fuse box here. And I've ordered another cable which will basically come from here over at the positive. If there is an issue here, the distance is only this much as opposed to all that wire going through the car. Everything's connected here, so let's check in the van now. Let's get the car started. So the car's started, let's flip the switch, and what we should see is the light starting to blink. Good sign. Let's see what's going on down at the Bluetti. 210. Let's get the app open and see what's happening in there. So let's go to my devices. Add device. Charger 1. Okay. Start. So there you go, we've now successfully added it to the Bluetti app. So as you can see on the left hand side, it's showing 13.7 volts and it's giving out 27 volts. So let's turn off charging just now and actually set the Bluetti to its configuration within the app, and we should get more voltage. Let's check for a firmware upgrade first. Up to date, advanced settings, adaptive mode, what does that mean? So if charging isn't working, try disabling this mode. Some cars with small alternators may experience this issue, so if you're having issues with it, just turn off adaptive mode. So charging voltage, so once we go into charging voltage, it will ask you to disconnect the device, blah blah blah. So next. And this is where we select the model. So there's AC180, AC180P, AC180T. Mine's is the AC180P. So I would select that, but I think they're both the same. So this is going from 27 or 26 volts up to 56 now. So let's see what we're getting now. So there you go, where are we up to? 325. So even on the app, it says we're getting about 340 watts, and you can hear the charger one a wee bit. There's a lot of factors why you might not get the full 560, and it can be just due to your alternator or it can be due to your battery. But considering the solar that we're getting is roughly about 90 max, but it's not consistent and it's not stable, this is 340 watts worth of power. Now it's over 3 times as much as what my car's giving me when I'm driving. And then when we hit stop charging, the Bluetti cuts off. And as you can see, we aren't taking any more charging. Oh, I'm chuffed to bits with that. So the only minor annoying difference between the Bluetti and the all powers, or especially my Bluetti, is the charging cables. So the Bluetti is a DC one and the all powers is the XT60. It just means that when you set it off, you need to change the cable for whatever one you want to charge first. I think the newer Bluettis have actually changed over to the XT60 cable. If you do have this kind of configuration where you need to change cables, it's not a bad idea to turn the fuse off. Right, goes in the back of here. And then turn on the all powers. So as you can see, the unit's already at 100%. So what I'm going to try and do is just put some wattage on it just to get the percent down, just so we can actually get a charge into the unit. I'll cover a wee bit on the alternator charger. So the cool thing about this alternator charger is it's got an intelligent system, so it checks the voltage of your car battery and it doesn't go below a certain threshold to preserve the battery. If it gets to that threshold, it basically cuts off charging at your power station, because normal DC to DC chargers cut in and out, but they just take and take. So basically they would run flat and power the power station or your leisure batteries rather than protect the battery. And the good thing as well, as you saw with the app, you can do everything from the app, you can charge from the app, and it is pretty quiet as well. And the wires aren't hot, and I think it's probably as well because I'm not putting them through as much load. And it's also got vents as well, so it's got its own active cooling, so if it gets too hot it actually cools itself down, which is brilliant. But one of the best features about this Bluetti is it's completely configurable. If we go into custom, so the max is 56 volts, so you can actually go down all the way to 15 volts. I mean, you're not going to get much of a charge, it might be like 50 watts or something, but it doesn't really matter if you've got a high powered alternator or a low powered one, you're still able to set the voltage and get some charge for your power station. So as you can see, we're getting 322 watts at 97%, but I think we are more than capable of getting that up to 500. I think this is just throttling the power to get to 100%. And obviously the only way I can test my theory is using my Bluetti and getting it all the way down and then charging it. So before, when I was showing it in the video, we were only getting roughly about 300 watts, but because the Bluetti was already about 80-90%, it's at 70%, we're getting the max wattage, and the max input this takes is 500 watts, and we're getting the full max 500 watts from the charger. So all I need to do now is just fit the Bluetti box to the van and figure out where I'm going to put the cables. And not forgetting that we also need to put the cable to the fuse box as well. For somebody that always uses power stations, this is just something I've been looking for a long time. So if you've got a power station, you need to look at this Bluetti Charger one. So once again, I had to take the seat out, but as you can see, the cable's here, coming in through the bottom, and then it's coming along here. It's going to be tucked in behind the trim and then go in the back of there. And so let me show you where I've put it, in behind the Bluetti. But aye, I'm happy with that. Fits in there nicely, lots of ventilation, and that's where the Bluetti in. And there's still plenty of room to get the straps on the Bluetti, and there's enough gap at the back between the Bluetti and the Charger one as well. You can see plenty of room. And you can also get access to the MC4 cables there, which will then go in here. And I forgot to say as well, I've left the fuse breaker visible just so that I can get in and turn it on and off when I need it. And there's the finished product. So as you can see, we've got the Bluetti positive coming into the fuse, and then the positive for the fuse going to the battery, and then the negative from the Bluetti Charger one going to the negative on the battery. I thought I had more of this cabling, this plastic conduit, to put on here, so I might end up getting another. But if this wasn't here, the positive would have went straight to the positive, and then it would have just been a live cable going through the car with no protection if anything went wrong here. So from this distance here, if there was a problem with the battery or the alternator and it caused this surge of power, then the 60 amp fuse is going to break, and then it means that that power isn't travelling through the car. It's just a wee safety feature. So guys, that's going to cover it for the episode. We now have the Bluetti in place. Honestly, when I started building this van, I thought at one point I'm going to need to go leisure battery for the relay and all that stuff, just so that the batteries can get charged when I'm driving. And when I had the power stations, because they were only 250 watt each, you know, it didn't really bother me as much. But when you get bigger power, it's how do you charge it? How do you get the power back? And Charger 1 is hands down one of the biggest upgrades I've made to Dobby. Obviously, solar is still an option for people. Would I say that Charger 1 replaces solar? I don't know, because I stay in Scotland and 90% of the time it's grey. I know it's sunny the now, it's making me a liar, but it isn't sunny all the time, and when it is, with that amount of sun, I'd probably only get about maybe 20-30 watts, maybe a wee bit more if I had my solar panel out and I'm facing it in the right angle and everything else. So do I think Bluetti Charger 1 will replace solar? Again, it's case by case, country by country, but in my case, because I stay in Scotland, do I see it as an alternative to solar? For me, I do. And what I was thinking is I'm going to take the solar off the roof and I'm going to replace it with a air-conditioned fan, like a maxi fan or whatever it's called, just to bring in the cool air, and when I'm cooking I can have ventilation and all that stuff, and even when I'm sleeping. Because the main problem with Dobby is in the winter it's too cold, and in the summer it's too warm. When I started building Dobby all the way back 2 years ago, I had all these plans and ideas, and slowly but surely every single one of them has happened now. I just feel like Dobby has now become the camper that it was always supposed to be. And this was my goal at the start of 2025, to get all this done, and all before I go to Sky. So if you want to see it, be sure to get subscribed and hit that bell notification so you don't miss it. But if you haven't enjoyed the video, guys, why not get a wee like and let me know in the comments if you're going to get the Bluetti Charger 1. I got it on a sale, the cable and the charger, for £220, but I think it's probably went back up to £250, £300 including the cable. But keep an eye out on the deals if you do want to get it, or let me know in the comments if you've already got one and if you're enjoying it. Next stop is Sky. See you there. Peace.